The airlift has begun. The Dakar Rally heads for Libya with Russian help. As the loading goes on, time to take stock of a remarkable week of racing. And on both 2 wheels and 4, the drama, the abiding memory, thankfully. And so, in the middle of the night, the monoliths of the sky, the Antonov 124s, arrived. Well, the flash is not just coming from the aircraft lights. Everyone turned out to photograph these beasts. Amazing machines. Everyone totally in awe. It's a wonder they ever got off the ground. The Russian crew, the elite of the Russian Air Force. Immaculate conditions inside. Stunningly drilled. Weren't allowed to do too much filming, I can tell you, of the instruments and controls. Hubert Oriol saying, could you all please move back? They will be coming every single day. You'll have plenty of time to see what's inside. We, of course, get a sneak preview. Well, the capacity of these beasts is absolutely astounding. 21 cars it's possible to load into these. They can take more than 5 trucks, a lot more, but they say they prefer not to. Question of balance on the airframe. Etienne Levine, who's responsible for logistics, says everything has to be in place and prepared, free to loading. Every single vehicle person has to be weighed, and then we can get the right mix, he says, of vehicles and cars. We can take around 5 trucks, 40 tonners, 21 cars. Now just look at this. They say you can get a Hercules transporter under just one of these wings, the biggest aircraft in the world. Everyone took time to have a look. Well, everything had to be packaged up, and although helicopters can fly, we're going over what was potentially a terrorist threat. As a result, too dangerous for them to fly on. Chicken and egg stuff, flying machines within flying machines. Hubert Oriol saying, it's all going very well. There are perhaps going to be a few logistical problems. We're hoping that they'll be minor. Everyone seems to be playing the game, he says. The organisation, the press, all the competitors, of course. Well, let's just hope that we can keep it all rolling. Now, there aren't too many problems which would hold up what is a critical schedule. And so the very full length of these runways here in Niamey being used. People watching in awe. They went right to the very end. We were worried at first, but now all and sundry are used to it. So the weigh station, just to check how heavy. You're allowed teddy bears. Fuel tanks have to be no more than 3/4 full due to expansion in the air. Everyone committed to making this lift a success. Meanwhile, in the town of Niamey, the traders out, everyone talking about the rally, and everyone disappointed that they not passed through this country, as was supposed to be the case. Souley Hussein, president of the organising committee for Niger, says we just can't understand why this has happened. Terrorist threats, they believe, was a minor one. And the rally doesn't want to lose anyone to that sort of thing. And this is the result.
Parlez français? English. So you have to fill the form. Yes. And you need maximum in the tank 3/4. Yes. That's good? Okay, fine.
Documents filled in and cleared to go. All cars put in a closed park, the Parc Fermé, at midday today. Some vehicles, of course, more special than others. He says this is a logistical extravaganza, he says. It's exceptional. Never seen anything like it before. Well, you may be wondering why Schlesser's parking his vehicle different to everyone else. That's to let the crew know. Just like Hansel, this vehicle has to be loaded by specialists. Can I take my things out, he says. Leave them in. Hansel saying this is a very special kind of car. It's gearbox, the brakes, everything. He says you have to drive it in a certain kind of way. And if you're not used to it, he says, you can easily damage the car. As a result, he says, we will be loading it directly ourselves, either myself or a member of my team. We can't take any risks. Well, hundreds of bikes, hundreds of cars, and the trucks on their way. Well, it all started so beautifully, did it not? In Dakar, the capital of Senegal. And we're expecting so much from the Mitsubishis. Schlesser, of course, the defending champion. But on the day, something of a surprise. Carlos Souza, one of the independents, though helped, of course, by the Mitsubishi team. His machine looking like no other, as other bigger names were in bother. Matsuoka and Shinazuka, they were expecting to set the early pace. Souza saying, well, my victory on the opening day might seem a surprise to many. First ever special, of course. But to me, he said, that's exactly what I thought I was capable of. Souza, capable of winning 2 stages in the opening week. So from Senegal, we were heading into Burkina Faso. People delighted to see us as we were to see them. And of course, the beautiful scenery. Shinazuka out there to make a point, especially as the impertinent Souza had taken the plaudits on the opening day. Fontenay, as with so many others, having navigation problems as the dust rose, tracks altered, and indeed the roadbook was virtually useless in some parts since the roadbook was drawn out in October. The route had changed considerably. No, it's not a good route. So many lost. Local help became almost imperative so very often. Heartbreaking to have to turn around in condition like this. Cross country, often the only way. Jutta Kleinschmidt, she was having trouble with her radiator intake, so she took a stage in the first week, constantly having to stop to pull grass from the radiator. Nobody else seeming to be too troubled. Schlesser, he's a wily old fox, biding his time, and when the day got very fast indeed, he put his foot down and showed the rest of them why he's the champion.
J'ai pris beaucoup de risques aujourd'hui.
He says, a lot of mistakes, day after day, he said. But today, it was beautiful. Able to put my foot down and really enjoy myself. Mixed terrain, suiting him absolutely beautifully. Burkina Faso, a feast for the eyes. Into Mali. Equally as welcoming, you'll be glad to know. Equally as beautiful. And one of the surprises of the rally so far, Stefan Pennehansel. This car, the Mega, brought him so much joy this week. 200 kilos lighter, and a standard Mitsubishi with the real race engine in there. Mitsubishi were being humiliated. First Sousa, then Pennehansel, shining.
Et puis la voiture, la Mega, qui est toujours aussi performante, aussi facile à conduire et aussi agréable à conduire, ça c'est fantastique.
Great car, handles beautifully. Can't fault it, he says. Gregoire de Mébius in the Nissan. It wasn't just about Mitsubishi power and the Schlesser buggies. So, the terrain getting more burnt, more sandy. From Mali to Burkina and onwards. Well, destination, finally, Niamey in Niger. And a rude awakening for us all when we finally got there. If they finally got there. Puncture, puncture, slow down, stop. Words that are almost international on this rally. Wheel changing, it's become second nature to so many, and it certainly has to. Bruno Sabi, the Ford Pro Truck, been having all sorts of difficulties. Suspension overheating. Just had to wait for assistance, he said. The gearbox needed replacing entirely. The truck only arrived at 5:30 this morning. I was concerned, he said, because I'm third day, and I just want to maintain it. And maintain it, he did. Third place on the day, third in his category, 10th overall. So towards Niamey, and something nobody expected. The threat, of course, of terrorist attack. That was to come. The dust, ever present. And hampering procedures once again.
Et on tourne à droite?
À droite après le puits devant les maisons.
D'accord.
Et on quitte la piste principale.
The local population, beautifully behaved, standing well back. And the Mercedes of Jean-Pierre Strugo. In the marathon class. He's up there as well. 22 minutes off the pace, however. But remarkably, when you look at his teammates, he's heading that category. Shinazuka then leads the cars ahead of Schlesser by 6 minutes and 15 seconds. Stefan Pennehansel in third place ahead of Fontenay. Sousa still in touch, only half an hour off the pace. And so, what about the big boys? You wouldn't think you'd be able to get one of these inside an aircraft. You can get one inside an Antonov. And of course, Kamaz, you'd expect to be given preferential treatment. Being Russian built, Chigini, a hero amongst the Antonov crew, leading overall ahead of the Azevedo. Kabirov in third place, ahead of Lepre. Remarkably, just an hour separating all of them. at what will, of course, sadly be the halfway stage when we restart on this year's Dakar, as opposed to just the first week of 3.
C'est bon. Allez, jette le klaxon maintenant. Jette le klaxon. Allez, saute, c'est bon. Vas-y.
And so, we're thinking ahead to what lies ahead in Libya. Farewell to Niger. Sorry it just had to end this way.